Older homes can have a lot of charm, and many times homeowners prefer them because they are not cookie cutter. They also have more mature landscaping, probably a larger lot, and a more finished feel. However, with the advantages come disadvantages. Hi, I'm Gordon Baker, and we're going to look at the disadvantages that could be associated with an older home that you really need to know about. Some of the differences between older and newer homes can be attributed to improved building methods, code changes, and cost savings. I use the term older home, but remember, this is relative. I remember talking to somebody years ago on the East Coast, and we were discussing a property and why it hadn't sold. I suggested that maybe it was because it was an older home for that area since it was built in 1985. She informed me that her house was built in 1912, so she didn't think it was old at all. Her home is as old as the state of Arizona. This shows it's all relative. That made me wonder, how old are homes in the Phoenix area? How many homes were built each decade? Is an older East Coast home the same age as an older Phoenix home? No. Okay, it was late at night when I was thinking through these things, but stay with me on this one. Here's a chart showing the homes built by decades so you can get a feel for the relative age of homes in Phoenix. Very few homes were built in 1912. It also shows the growth of the area. The decades of 2010 to 2019 is another discussion in and of itself. So what are the things to consider when buying an older home? Well, the first thing are pipes. Galvanized pipes were used in homes prior to 1960. They were popular, but after decades of use, it became apparent that they were subject to rust and corrosion from the inside. Next is cast iron. Widely used, but difficult to install and expensive. Therefore, they were phased out by 1980, and builders opted for PVC, which was less expensive and easier to work with. Now we come to polybutylene, a type of piping that was used between 1978 and 1995 and was thought to be the wave of the future. However, it was short-lived since only after a decade there were numerous lawsuits and eventually a class action lawsuit and settlement. Therefore, if you're considering a home built before 1980, it would be a wise investment to have a sewer scope done and as best you can determine the type of piping in the house. Now we come to wiring. Aluminum was used between the mid-1960s and 70s because the price of copper skyrocketed. After copper prices came down, it came back and is the preferred type of wiring. Solid aluminum wiring has posed some problems, increasing the possibility of house fires. Some insurance companies may not even insure homes with aluminum wiring, so check with your insurance agent during the inspection period and consult a qualified electrician if you are considering a house with aluminum wiring. Now for the roof. We're talking specifically about tile roofs. It's not really the tiles that degrade and need to be replaced, but rather the underlayment below the tiles, that black felt-like looking stuff. Now don't assess the health of the roof based on what you see inside the house. You need to ask how well are the tiles protecting the underlayment. Are they cracked, broken, or have they slipped such that the underlayment is being exposed to the elements? It's naive to say that since you don't have any leaks in your house that the roof is in good condition. Have your roof inspected every year. Here's what I use to make sure that there are no cracked, broken, or slipped tiles because they are your first line of defense. Now this has got a great camera and I use it every year to inspect my roof. And this is how I make sure that the tiles are protecting the underlayment because exposed underlayment and water consistently getting below the tile will reduce the life expectancy of your roof. Now if you're learning something from this video, let me know by liking and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Now we come to the AC. The air conditioner is one of the major systems, especially here in Arizona. The efficiency for an air conditioner is measured with a SEER rating, which stands for Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio. The higher the SEER rating, the more efficient the unit is. An important milestone for the AC system was 2010 when units using Freon R22 were discontinued and newly installed systems used refrigerants such as R410A. But Freon was still being produced. Then in January 2020, the production and importation of Freon was discontinued. So you can imagine what is happening to the price of Freon. Knowing what refrigerant the AC system uses is important because servicing your AC by adding Freon will become more and more expensive. Now, dual pane windows versus single pane. Homes built before 1985 generally used single pane windows, but by 1990 almost all windows were dual pane. This is important because according to the U.S. Department of Energy, windows account for 50% of the energy loss in a home. So what is the advantage of dual pane windows? First of all, not all dual pane windows are created equal, especially when you get into the low E category. But I've seen estimates stating that dual pane can save between 18 to 31% on energy bills compared to single pane windows. Again, this will require more research to see where you may fall in this range. Next, unpermitted changes. Whenever I look at a listing and the square footage source says it was provided by the owner, I think, okay, why is that different from the county, what the county assessor says, since the assessor would reflect permitted changes? Appraisers will base their value on the permitted square footage, not the square footage where the owner decided to enclose a part of the garage and make an extra room and add this to the overall square footage. The owner thinks it has value, but the appraiser and lender will not. With time, building methods have changed and systems require upgrading or replacement. So depending on the year the house was built, it will require additional attention and focus on certain items. I'm not a licensed inspector, which is why you should always have a home inspection and consult qualified professionals as needed. If you've enjoyed this video, here are a couple more that I think you'll find useful, or find them in the links in the description below. So I'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions or if I can help, reach out to me at 480-326-8571. Thank you.